The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Welcome! Third attempt. Here we go. Apparently, what happened was I set this thing up. I made it unlisted so that I'd be able to edit it later. But dude said he was in there, but it wasn't showing that he was there. So what we're doing now is I ended that broadcast that was sitting in there for an hour. And now I got this one that's live and in person right now. So I sent the link over. Alright, come on, man. If this doesn't work, just let you know I'm here in the chat. Okay, so now how do I put it in guest mode. So if you're here, how the fuck do I get you where you're supposed to be? Now, did you click on it to come? Did it let you come in or no? When I click allow access, it just doesn't do anything. That's fucking weird, dude. Because that fucking sucks, dude. I don't know what we're gonna do then. I just want to take a moment to say, fuck technology around the world. Like, why you gotta be a pain in the ass, dude? Why is it that, you know what? Georgie, I think your name is, from Streamlabs, bro. You gotta fix this issue, cat. You can't be having shit like this happening. Now, I know there's gotta be a way I can get in touch with this man. Because I asked him a question in a video that he posted specifically about this right now. Because I did not want this to happen. I said, can I make a broadcast and keep it unlisted and have in a guest so that we can do a podcast? The man said it can be done, no problem. Well, here we are, sir, and problems we have. Just write your questions in and we could fucking do it like that. Even though it would be better for you to fucking be here. Instagram connection is shit. Well, I heard that. I'll second that motion because I try to do live streams and shit and it don't even come up right. God damn, you hear that? Listen. Nothing. I gotta let this fucking asshole in. Give me a second. You can hang out in here, but don't step on anything. Or you know what? I got an idea. What if you went live on your channel and I could share my screen on here and then you could talk through there and I could answer you. Yeah, see, you just thought of the same thing I did. That makes sense, bro. We could do it all live. Motherfucker, I'm not supposed to touch your neck, dude. She got flea treatment on. Listen, man. This whole thing has been fucked in the butt right from the beginning, dude.
To make a long fucking story short, I put a whole bag of jelly beans up my ass.
We had no chance. We We were running through a cornfield of dicks trying to set this thing up.
Now that was seen as a pleasant way to go.
So if this is the way that the universe wants it to be done, then that's the way it's going to have to be done. It's not like I can't take the audio of this later and cut it up and edit it and make it sound pretty. You do your question thing. I'll buy time in here. And you know what, too, dude? We can actually turn this negative into a positive. If you hear this now or you hear this later, either way, we can actually use this to our advantage, because what it does is it shows everybody out in internet land exactly how these things are set up. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I watch a movie, sometimes I'll sit and I'll think to myself, I wonder how they made this shit happen. And I'm sure people think the same thing about content on the interwebs, right? So they all get a specific peek behind the curtain that they would not have had before.
Get a fucking peek, just that's it.
It'll be up in no more than 10 minutes. I'll post a link here if it lets me. All right, cool. If not, I'm subscribed to your fucking channel, so let's hope YouTube will let me know that you're uploading a fucking video. Piece of shit.
Don't fuck with me, Al. Don't make a fuck out of me. You want to embarrass me, make a fool out of me? Huh? Fucking degenerate, you. Fucking kids at home. Here, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, thanks. Let me find out you fucked up. I'll leave you wherever I find you. Fuck, you believe this?
I don't get it, man. When I don't use notifications, when I don't need them, I get notifications out the ass. And now that I actually am relying on them to do something, it's gonna fuck me right up my pooper, dude.
I love that cocksucker like a brother. And he fucked me in the ass.
Ridiculous. I got fucking ADD, bro. I'm all over the place. Yo, what's up, man? How is life? What's going on with the house? Closing tomorrow. All right. At least you're not homeless for long. That's good. Bro, why you put my business all out in the street like that? Bro, trust me. It's all good. You're okay. So, hey, you know what? You could probably help me and answer this question for me. I got a dude over here, not here right now. He's in the chat, and he's from England, right? So I was gonna do a podcast with him. So I made a broadcast. I made it unlisted, right? And I gave him the link. So he clicks on the link, and it shows, it allows him to get in, but he can't see anything and he can't hear anything, right? So I thought to myself, maybe the issue is that it's not live. Here we are, right? And I send him the link to this one, and still the same issue. As a matter of fact,
hey.
Okay. I don't get it.
Well,
Dude,
see,
I don't understand.
hold on. StreamYards is still fairly new-ish, so a lot of the bugs still not gonna, a lot of the bugs are not gonna be hammered out for certain platforms. Like,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like somebody across the world, maybe.
Well, no, I mean, okay, look, I'm on mobile right now, okay, because the whole housing situation will be done tomorrow. You know what I mean? We're closing in fuck it, I'll just say it. We're closing in tomorrow, and then, no, sorry, and
Target neutralized.
today and
Fuck yeah.
tomorrow. I didn't give specific addresses, just cities.
Exactly. But you could be anywhere. Because if you know anything about either of those places, they are rather large.
Yep.
Well, you sound pretty good for being on mobile, because when I tried to use mobile in the past, when you hit me with links when you were doing streams on your channel, you guys couldn't hear me. Like, I could be in there and I could see things, hear you, you just couldn't hear me.
Yeah. Well, just lucky, I guess. I don't know. I do. I think I do have a better phone than you, even though mine's literally cracked right now.
Is this a 5 o'clock free crack giveaway?
Oh, dude, I'm sure you do. Look at this piece of garbage. It's cracked all the way around. I returned this phone 5 fucking times. 5 times, because every time I bought the original one for $60. Brought it home, opened it up. It had AT&T software on it, not Boost Mobile. So I go, well, that's a fucking problem. Bring it back to the store. I get another one, same issue. This goes on for 3 phones. So then I bring it.
Hold on. So you went to you went to Bruce Mobile.
Try again.
Or Boost Mobile, whatever the fuck. Got a phone, but it wasn't from their store. It was from AT&T.
Oh, no, I didn't buy it from Boost Mobile, from a Boost Mobile store. I bought it at Walmart. Which is even worse.
I think that makes it even worse.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's what I get for shopping at Walmart, right?
Fuck you. Hey, don't you be this? Never mind. Go ahead.
So that goes on for 3 phones. Then I bring it back again. And meanwhile, the entire time that I'm doing this, you would think somewhere in the process of doing this, I would go, you know, maybe I should just get a different phone. Maybe I should just not buy the same one over and over again, and I won't have this problem.
Maybe you should just go off the grid. There you go. Problems.
That's true. I mean, then the screen wouldn't turn on and the battery wouldn't work and others. It was a train wreck. So I finally got this one, and I had it sitting in my hood, and I dropped it, cracked the screen, and I had a case for the front. It's an otter case that covers the screen.
Can I just say that I miss my dog?
Where is she?
She said she's staying at my sister's apartment.
Oh shit! Oh
yeah,
so
my sister moved. Yeah, my sister moved in with her boyfriend. So now all I gotta do is leave. You know, all I gotta do is move away from the Wicked Witch of the West, and then I'll be home free. She can live alone and die for all I care.
What I believe you were trying to say is thank you.
Thank you?
You're welcome.
I'm sorry, that's too mean. I apologize to any mothers out there.
Nah, well, you know. Look, man, everybody has those thoughts, just a lot of people don't say them out loud, I feel like.
You know what? You know, this is actually a perfect segue to something I want to bring up, and I'm going to use your platform to spread it all over the place.
Do it.
But that's what she said.
Yeah.
No. Okay, adding on to that point, a lot of people from what I've noticed, get a certain thought in their head, they immediately run from it. Like, okay, this is gonna get a bit heavy, so like suicide, right? 23 years, you know that whenever I get those thoughts, I try to analyze them. I try to be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. If you want to keep talking, you can keep talking. But I have finally, it just came up that the video uploaded.
Oh well, is the person you're talking to coming in?
No, he was supposed to come in here, but for whatever reason, Streamlabs is.
Try again.
StreamYards is what I meant, not Streamlabs. That's OBS, 2 completely different things. I fucked up. Not allowing it. So now what he's doing is he's recorded questions that he's had and put them in a video, uploaded them on his channel, and I'm going to watch the video and respond to him, and that's how we're going to communicate.
Leave your fucking, you got questions?
Hey, we did it.
That's ghetto as fuck, but whatever.
Fuck yeah, it is, dude.
But ever since I've known this man, he's had nothing but hatred for computers. He has no patience. for technology.
Unbelievable. Now the phone rings. Now the phone rings.
It's not me.
Hello? Go fuck your mother, you cunt. I don't have a warranty on a car. Anyway, now before we get sidetracked anymore, goddamn telemarketers and everything.
No, hold on. I want to say something really quick. Sorry. You know me, okay? I can't drive. I'm legally blind.
Oh, why don't you take this dog and have the dog drag your blind ass around town? That's all the fuck you got, the damn dog, man. If I could see, I would whip your ass.
I get those fucking calls too, and it pisses me off more than they piss you off, okay?
I can imagine. I would be super pissed if I couldn't drive and then I had that call. But all right, let's see what he's got to say.
What's going on? So this video for Jack of One Trade for Laughing Birds.
What's up? What's up?
It's ridiculous, mate.
Yeah.
Like, as I said, it could even be something to do on my end because you've had other guests on that simply has worked. So
no way.
It could be something on my end to do with my laptop. I don't know, but as I said, it shouldn't be this hard to do something so simple.
Yeah.
Something that should be so simple. But
yeah.
Anyway, I've got some questions. They're probably I'll probably think of more as well in future videos if we're gonna do it like that. First off, thanks for having me on the channel anyway.
Dude, look, man, anything that I can do to help people. I'm a firm believer in the fact that we should fucking help one another. Too many people are way too busy trying to stay to themselves and they don't want to help nobody because they're afraid to share some of the fucking stage.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. You may be a firm believer in helping others, but as you and I both know, others are not too keen on helping you. If you get my drift.
That is true. That is true.
I'm someone that's been interested in doing podcasts myself, and I see you contacted me a while ago, and that's because of, I think it was like 8 months ago, and that's because of YouTube's setup that I only saw it a few weeks ago. And that was only because I was going through the settings and stuff, and I found some old comments. So YouTube is just a mess anyway, but we both know that.
Yeah,
I'm interested in doing podcasts myself. I watch quite a few podcasts. I don't know if you watch Joe Rogan, but I think that was the first one that got me into podcast settings.
Bro, he is like the fucking godfather of podcasts. Joe Rogan, Mark Maron, Joey Diaz. Those are like the three big ones. I mean, there are definitely other ones, Fighter and the Kid. I could go down a whole list of podcasts, but we could do that later on. But
yeah, I just want to say something. I just want to say something for all, this may be just way off topic, but I just feel like saying for all those who say potheads are definitely losers. Joe Rogan's a pothead and he's richer than you, motherfuckers. So fuck you.
That's true. That is true.
I mean,
but right now it's sober October, so he's not smoking.
And as I said, I watch quite a few now. So the first question is, what made you start podcasting? Because I know but what made you want to get into that? And was you doing other content before podcasting?
Okay, so this is a long answer, but this is gonna sound stupid. I don't know what it says about me as a person, but I've always been fascinated with the idea of radio, talk radio and all that shit. The fact that people could do that. When I was a kid, I had something called the Talk Boy. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's from an old Home Alone movie where, talk into it and shit.
Interesting. I'd never heard of a Talk Boy.
What? Oh, you should be ashamed of yourself. But sorry, we'll educate you.
First of all, I came here in 1993 when I was 8 years old.
Sorry, I forgot. You're from Italy. I forgot that you're not originally from America, so it's not your fault.
Italian people who make up certain words and phrases that only they know what it means. Like, you ever heard an Italian person say this phrase? Half a fag. What the fuck does that mean? Whoa. Not for nothing, you sound like half a fag. Even when they explain it to you, the meaning makes less sense than the term. Like, what does that mean? I don't know. You meet a guy in a bar, you throw back a couple of drinks. Next thing you know, you take him to the bathroom, you pull down your trousers, you pull out your cock, you shove it halfway down his throat. Somewhere in the process, you go, whoa, this ain't for me. Half a fucking fag.
It's not your fault. We'll have to bring you up to speed and all the good shit. But how can I explain this without sounding like a total knob? Is growing up, dude, I happened to be around adults who listened to talk radio. So I got to listen to these dudes that are on the radio and they have a topic and people are calling in and things are getting discussed and there's a way to build a conversation around without having, even if you don't have the ability to be in the same room with somebody. So looking at that, being socially anxious as I am, even though you probably wouldn't think so with a camera on my face and a microphone right next to me, but I figured why not, right? And I thought about doing it for years. I just never knew what the fuck I was gonna do it on. One and two, I had to get over the idea of whatever you have to say is not important enough for anybody to want to listen to it, right? I had to shut that thought down in my mind, because I'm sure even as you probably thought about it, it's crossed your mind that like, well, who the fuck am I to think that I'm important enough that I should be broadcasting my thoughts and my opinions out into the world for other people to hear it. Don't let that shit, throw that shit away. It's a side thought, because you can't allow that to interfere with what you really are trying to do.
If everybody listened to those thoughts, we wouldn't have Joe Rogan. We wouldn't have all these people. Now, you could say that, that some people are actually, or just born confident. You know what I mean? They never have those thoughts. Okay, fair enough. But for us retards, we have those thoughts.
Yeah. Well, not only that, dude, but I've learned. Well, I don't want to get ahead of myself, because I gotta finish addressing his first question and the second half of the question. So, I wanted to do this originally with my friends. You should know, dude, I harassed you for years to do a podcast with me, right?
Well, hold on, no, wait, hold on. I need to correct something here. Okay, yes, I wanted to fucking do it, but we never had the equipment. Okay, so fuck you.
Right. But the point is, dude, that I've been, it's just the whole idea, man, of like, look, I'm a very state of myself person. A lot of the times, like, if me and you were standing outside in the parking lot right now and you were here, I'd have questions that maybe I would probably be too. It's not that I would be afraid to offend you or anything like that, but my comfort level wouldn't be.
I've noticed this. There's a difference between having discussions online and in real life. Online, you could be as aggressive as you fucking want, and there's really no fear of getting punched in the face.
Right.
In real life, however,
so that's the reason why I wanted to get into it, was just because the whole idea of it was fascinating to me. And to the other question that you had, was I making content before this? What?
I was gonna say, the reaction videos count.
Well, yeah. Spoiler alert.
Well, it's not really a fucking spoiler for people who've been watching the channel for a while.
Holy shit, bro! It's a bad joke, dude. Can you let me bomb a little bit?
Okay, fine. Sorry.
I'm fucking around, but no, dude. The original thing I tried doing was music. I tried uploading beats that I was making through Fruity Loops, and that's going back, I think, to 2012. When I realized that shit was a rat race and it wasn't going to work out. Wait, what I meant to say was that I completely sucked at making music. Some people have it, some people don't. I definitely don't have the ability to do it. That, and on top of the fact that, so many people get into the music industry, I actually wanted to go to a place called Full Sail University, where they're supposed to teach you to be able to, work in a studio, or you can go into television, or, make albums, shit like that, collaborate with artists. Two of those things are exactly the same. That's the type of shit that I wanted to do. And also, I didn't mention this to you when you were in here, because I try not to fucking really bring it up because I'm kind of embarrassed by it, but I actually used to write music, like used to write raps and shit like that. I'm not saying that I was any good, but I could write like a motherfucker, dude. I'm just glad that that shit is really not anywhere around. I mean, I submitted shit to websites that have since closed down, and pray to fucking Christ almighty that nobody finds it, because that shit it was rough, dude. But I had a I had a deal. Everybody has to go through things, dude. It's the point I'm trying to make. Although I was better than a goddamn mumble rapper, I'll give myself credit for that much. Somebody that I know happened to be in my house and came up with the idea of, you know what, you don't listen to metal, I don't listen to rap. We should do a video where we listen to one another's music. Like we each pick a song and we trade, and we can talk about what our thoughts are on it. And I was like, dude, that's a good idea. So from right there, the reaction shit was born. And then from watching all these fake fucking reaction channels, but that's a whole nother, we'll get to that later, because that I feel very strongly about that, and that's a question I have for you. But doing reactions, right? And then I realized, like, okay, here's a problem. No matter what you say about a song, somebody's gonna be mad. Even if you say you like it, or you didn't say that you like it enough, you didn't compliment this and this thing, or you didn't catch that line, or how come you didn't talk about this and that, people are always going to be mad. And then it came down to the point where I was like, dude, first of all, like the hate comments, which is another thing that I want to address. Again, I know I'm all over the place, sorry, I'll get to that. But between hate comments, being stuck in a repetitive motion, it started to get to where I felt like there's other shit that I want to talk about. Any fucking thing else other than this song that I'm listening to right now. And I can't, because this is what people show up for. And I've learned through doing the podcast, reaction videos are great to jumpstart your channel and pull people in. The problem is, a lot of the time, at least for me personally, because I know somebody who made 2 videos on a band called Nightwish, I think, and got, I don't even know how many fucking subscribers and over like 10,000 views in a couple of days, versus me doing this shit for a year and I'm barely breaking. I just broke to 470, but it got repetitive. And then I started to fucking hate it, dude. Where I would wake up in the morning and I would walk past the room and I would look at this fucking computer, and it would disgust me, because I would know I have to come in here now and I have to listen to music that people are suggesting to me, which I like that part. I've discovered a lot of cool bands and artists I was not aware of by doing that. But then just the whole process of being confined in the box, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm doing the goddamn podcast. Started out with a pair of fucking headphones, dude. Just talking into a headphone mic. So, I mean, look, I'm all over the place. Let me fucking get back to your video.
A second question, how did you get your first guest? And since your first guest, has your strategy changed to how now you get guests?
That's a fucking great question, dude. I would encourage you to to go and listen to. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to pull it up right now so I can make sure that I get the name correct. Because, and then I'll explain it. This is the worst. This is the worst thing ever. This should give you some motivation when you're doing your shit. Okay, so technically the first guest I ever had on the podcast was my friend and former co-host who has bowed out of doing the podcast and since has moved out of state. That was technically the first guest I ever had. The idea of guests got brought up when social media got brought up. We made a Twitter account, which is at Laughing Birds on Twitter, and we saw that all these people have accounts, and there's a shitload of podcasts out there. Maybe we can get somebody on. Like, it would be fun to try to talk to people, and honestly, in the spirit of we're small, they're small, if we stick together, we can build this thing up to something bigger than it is, right? That would be a great thing to do. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out like that. But how it started was I went on Twitter and I would look for random podcasts. I would try to find a subject of something that I had a little bit of knowledge on, or at least something that interested me. I find a victim. In this case, is these guys right here, Out the Gate podcast, and I send them a direct message and I say something along the lines of, hey, look, we're new on this podcast thing. We see that you guys have, I think they have a few hundred followers on Twitter. So at the time, that's like fucking huge. And by the way, I still only have like 30 followers, except I'm a lot more hip to how the game works now. So when I see big numbers, it really don't faze me none. But I definitely want to cover that. But I hit them up in a DM and I was like, dude, would you guys come on the podcast? And they were like, oh, sure, definitely. We were thinking about trying to get guests on our podcast or whatever the fucking conversation was. So I was like, okay, cool. We'll set up a date. We'll set up a time and you guys can come on. My co-host taps out. He's like, dude, I got some shit I got to do. You got to handle this alone by yourself. So now I'm shitting bricks already. There's 3 motherfuckers on this podcast. He don't know shit about sports. By the way, it's a sports podcast. These guys are. Now I'm a bit of a sports fan, right? I know a little bit about rugby now, thanks to YouTube channel, but I know the NFL. I know a little basketball, hockey, but these dudes are like super into it. And now, how old are you guys? Because that's going to bring me into my next deal.
Ben and I are both 31, and Zuch is 29.
All right, because I was about to say, I'm 33, dude. I'm not looking to do anything crazy that is going to wreck me, because it seems like now I get out of a chair the wrong way, and it could spell bad news bears for me. So I understand.
Jeez.
If I would have bombed any harder, that joke would have went on a terrorist watch list.
Yeah. Oh, Jerry, I love this guy.
But, that's a whole... Damn, that joke went over like a lead balloon. I like that, though. That episode doesn't have a number. I just looked and realized it should have been episode 14. It's Laughing at Birds featuring Out the Gate Pod. But I guess I bombed so hard I just never numbered it. But it's there. 1 and 2. That was fucking terrible. That was really hard to listen to just now. I did so bad. You want to talk about personalities not matching up? You're not going to click with everybody, dude. And I ate shit for that entire episode. However, doing that, I realized if I address the fact that I'm doing badly right now, it'd be a good thing because look, I know people that are listening to it know that I'm bombing. If I don't address it, I look like a fucking idiot. So I definitely should address it. And that's how I do it. But what has changed now? Not a whole lot, in the sense that, like, okay, in comparison, and I feel like, I wanted to have you on as a guest, and I'm sitting here doing all the fucking talking, so I feel kind of douchey about that. I can always Frankenstein this together later if that's what it takes. But I learned from that situation, and then I reached out on Twitter again, which the basic preferred method to get a guest on is I learned to do it in private. Okay, the last thing you want to do is pick a big fucking pick an artist, right? Like, let's say I want to get Mike Righteous on the podcast. The last thing that I should do is tweet to him publicly that I want him to come on the podcast as a guest, because then if he doesn't do it, I look like a fucking fool. And then people are going to be like, well, if he doesn't want to fuck with that podcast, there must be a reason, even though they don't know the dimensions of the fact that maybe there's no relationship there, or he hasn't had time to read it, or whatever the situation is. At least if it's done privately, if they decide to ghost you or they turn you down, nobody's the wiser, and you go about your regular business and nobody knows nothing. That's the best way to do it. But the second guest that I had on is a couple of people travel in cannabis. These people and the first guest that I had could not be more different. I've been following these guys on Twitter since I went on Twitter originally, and I DM'd them, never expecting to hear anything back from them. But I was like, I've been following what you guys do for years. It would be awesome if you could come on the podcast. It would be great to hear some stories that you guys have. And surprisingly, they messaged me back and were like, dude, we would love to do that. Like, so we exchanged emails in the DM, which that's probably the easiest way to do it. Once you get initial contact, be it through comments or DMs, preferably, exchanging emails and go back and forth like that makes it a lot easier. Just so also you have a solid record of everything that has been said back and forth. The other thing is, sometimes people like to have questions ahead of time. Like a lot of guests, or just people in general will go, well, I don't want to, like, I had a dude on, skipping ahead a little bit, I had a dude on that I know that is in a band, Forever Able, shout out to them. But, he wanted questions ahead of time just so that he can get an idea of which way the podcast was going to go. So that's the other thing too, is the email is helpful for that. Having a guest sometimes, like the situation that we have right here, it can be a pain in the ass. But regardless, the end result, hopefully the end result will be worth it, which is now, people that watch this channel or listen to the podcast will hear your name, they'll see what you're about, and hopefully they will go over and they will subscribe to your channel, so it gets you a little bit of exposure as well. Hopefully that answers the question. I feel so weird doing this like one-sided.
Like, have you changed the blueprint of how you go about getting your guests now? Is there a lot of promo you do to attract people? Or because that's something that I've struggled with. Like, even if I have the capability to set up a podcast,
right,
I haven't got the guests. So I wanted to know how you go about that. Like,
okay, hold on. let me stop you right there. Promotion is one of the easiest things in the world to do. Now, it doesn't matter. Here's what's going to suck. I'm going to let you in a little secret. 90% of the people out in internet land don't give a fuck about what you're posting about. Don't let that bother you. Don't let it bother you. We're shouting into the fucking Grand Canyon, dude, right? Like nobody knows we're alive. It's not even the point. Don't even worry about that. You put it out anyway. You could put out clips. There's a website called Headliner that you can go on and you can cut 1 minute clips for Instagram, 2 minutes and 20 seconds for Twitter, 10 minutes for YouTube. And you could use that, take bits and pieces of a podcast, and then you put that out on your Instagram, on your Twitter feed. You know, hashtags are important, but just doing it, somebody somewhere is going to see it. Even if you don't see the impact right away, building that up and working to it, the people are going to show up. The problem with internet is that it's such a instant gratification thing that we have here in front of us. You pull up Google, you punch in a name or something you're searching for, and immediately you get back answers, and that's how everybody expects it to be. Except they don't understand that there's definitely a grind to it, which a lot of people think you can just skip the line now and just go and be huge, and it doesn't work like that. But to answer your question, I realized very quickly that a lot of people only want to be a guest on your podcast when you have millions of followers. They only want to fuck with you after you've already made it. They don't want to fuck with you beforehand. Now, that could very well be because of my attitude. I know I have a tendency to bring the best out in people.
You stupid fucking cunt.
We're doing this. We're going in the comments section for a moment because you don't know how to English, bitch. How the fuck do you live where they speak proper English and you don't English, motherfucker? How is that possible? Should have had this shit pulled up already. Cause I don't know. Just say go fuck yourself. Please. It's much easier. You fucking silly move. Where is he? Where is this fucking silly prick? Not this motherfucker. This is my favorite. Your reaction fits and your retarded brother or lover. Original, dude. No, suck my dick. Fuck Blue October. How's that sound? Bunch of fucking fairies that play guitar. Say something. You want to fucking fight, dude? We'll fight, dude, right now. I don't want to get up, though, so it's going to be a problem. Right here. Right here. What the fuck does that even mean? Blad, you're a neek? What? English, motherfucker. Do you speak it? Apparently not. It's another clip I should have already had.
You, Williamson, I'm talking to you, shit.
I'm talking to you.
Cost me $6,000.
You fucking idiot.
$6,000.
That's right.
That's right.
Don't you look at your trade? You stupid fucking cunt.
What are you gonna do about it?
Asshole.
Asshole.
He's an
You
asshole.
fucking shit. Where did you learn your trade?
There it
You
is.
fucking cunt, you idiot.
Whoever told you you could try to insult men?
Are you not entertained?
Dude, like, I'm not even... It's funny. It's funny in a way because, like, you're fucking stupid, dude. So, it could possibly be that. But I've had people who have lower numbers that I have shut down and laugh me out of a guest spot on my podcast because they don't see any value in it. So I learned very quickly, I gotta fucking do it myself. I don't know if you would be comfortable with the idea of getting in front of a microphone and just letting your thoughts flow. I don't know if you could do that. Do you need to have guests? That's a question that you got to ask yourself. I mean, they're great. Don't get me wrong. But there's going to be a lot of times you might not be able to get anybody. So you got to really think about it like this, dude. If you do it by yourself and you fuck it up, you can be mad at yourself for it, right? But if you try to get somebody on, if you reach out to somebody, and I've had this happen to me before, you reach out to somebody recently, actually. Reached out to a dude, offered him to have a spot on the podcast. He was like, oh, for sure. Well, to be fair, he came to me and was like, dude, I'm starting a show. We could do cross promotion. Give me your shit. Talking to it back and forth, whatever, right? We set it up Wednesday, 7:00. I'll come on. We'll do the podcast. It'll be great. Dude never shows up. Never shows up. So what the fuck? No, like, dude, what was that about? Like, I don't understand. He's like, oh, sorry, some shit came up. I had to cancel it. Let's make it for tomorrow. Or no, I'm sorry. I'm confusing the story. 6:00, an hour before the podcast was supposed to start, he sent me a message. Hey, something came up. I'm sorry, I have to cancel. Can we push it to tomorrow? No problem. I was a little bit aggravated just because, like, okay, why are you canceling? I'm a negative person. I don't know if you have these issues, though, where somebody cancels, I'm automatically thinking, oh, it's because they realized, they took a look at my numbers and they said, this is not going to do anything for me. There's no reason for me to go on here because there's nothing that could come out of it. Other than the fact that, I don't know, we could have a fucking conversation, but people don't look at it like that anymore. It's all about, there are a bunch of Janet Jacksons out in the world. It's what have you done for me lately? What have you done for me lately? That's what it's all about. Not gonna lie, I thought after last week, I was hoping you keep the faith and didn't cut me off thinking I'm bullshitting. I mean, dude, gotta be honest with you, man. At first, I was pissed, bro. I was like, this is fucking unbelievable. This is unbelievable. I don't think I would have been, because literally that dude fucked me over. And then a couple of days later, I hear from you, and then that didn't work out. So I'm bringing that frustration and anger over to this now, not realizing that could be completely different. It could be completely different. Who knows what happened, right? But now, because I'm already in that negative space, I'm thinking, you want to hear my honest thoughts? And that's the other thing too, dude, is transparency, at least in my view, is important. But honest thoughts, not bullshitting you. I thought to myself, like, okay, here's what happened. He read your comment, right? He reached out to you to be nice. He said, oh, I want to do the podcast, and just trying to be cool about it. Not thinking that you were actually going to go, oh yeah, great idea, dude, let's fucking do it for sure. It was almost like a courtesy thing. Right? So then he cancels because he's like, I'm not wasting my time with you. The fuck? What could you possibly offer me? In my mind, that's what you're thinking. Now, I'm not saying you actually said any of this shit, but this is what I'm thinking in my head because, No, I would have been pissed off too. I know a lot of people say it, but if I'm going to do something, I will. It's only when shit like technology and emergencies happen. Well, see, that's the other thing too, dude, is you cannot predict if something is going to happen that's going to need your immediate attention. Look, I could have the fucking president set up to come on the podcast tomorrow. But if my girlfriend needs to go into the fucking ER, fuck the president. He can go find somebody else's show to do. That is more important right in the here and now. And at the same time, I can understand you're dealing with a stranger, so you don't want to be like, I had an emergency of some type, because you don't want to be throwing your whole business and situation out there, because that's not good. That's not good either. And by the way, also, I guess how you manage to pull an hour podcast out every week is you ramble on, or so it feels like. I mean, you sent a 3-minute video, and I'm pretty sure I've carved at least a half an hour out of it. I could talk.
Like how you contact them or what your strategy is, if you have a plan, or whether you just like do it like freestyle. Or so that was my second question, how you go about getting your guests.
Okay.
And the third question is, I want to do podcasts in the future, obviously, but what equipment do I need? Obviously I need a microphone and stuff, but like, is there certain software I need? And I mean, I think it's going to be a bit of a struggle, to be honest, because right now we can't even live stream together. So I don't know whether it's a case of me getting a certain high quality standard of a laptop, or what's the minimum capability of like RAM and stuff like that you need to run on a laptop to do
it.
Like this, just a simple setup like you've got.
Okay, now here's the beautiful thing about podcasts, dude. And here's what you don't know is the computer that I'm using currently right now was given to me by my former co-host, because the one that I had was slower than turtle shit. So I don't know exactly what the system is. I mean, I know it's Windows, but I mean, what the RAM is, what the hard drive is, I'm not exactly sure. Although I've had issues with this as well. There was a lot of cutting out shit like that. However, StreamYards, as we've seen, is working through bugs and shit, but it seems to do well for live streams, and it's free to use it. You don't have to pay for it. So that's definitely something to keep in your back pocket. The other thing that I use, what I do when I record a podcast, when I do pre-records, I'm not sure what it is that you're using now, but I use a program called Streamlabs OBS. Right now, what that does is it allows me to set up to where it uses the built-in webcam as a computer to catch me, and then it also allows me to set up a thing to where I can catch my internet browser and I can show you what I'm looking at. So we're screen sharing. And you could do live streams through it, but most importantly, it can pre-record. Now I had to go and mess with the settings, which I could pull up and look at later on, because I was skipping frames like a motherfucker, since this computer is nowhere near new. It's pretty old, it's pretty beat up, but it does the job that I need it to do. The other thing is this pop screen was given to me by my old neighbor. Shout out to Ren. If she happens to come across this, she found it at a garage sale someplace and picked it up for me, which is super sick. But this right here is a Blue Yeti microphone. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's pretty expensive. However, I was fortunate enough that somebody donated it to me to fucking do the show, right? But it's 100. Hold on, let me look up the. I'm going to search this real fast. It costs $150. In your money, it would be 116.73 pounds sterling. That's what the cost of the microphone is. However, the great thing about this mic, dude, is that it plugs in through a USB port. Literally, all you have to do is plug it into your USB port, go through the setup, which is fairly easy, and then you have it. You can talk on it, no problem. The other thing, which is the main shit that I use, is a program called Audacity. It's also a free editing software program which you can download. I mean, they have ones that you can pay for, like one of my good friends on here gave me a SoundForge to try out, which is a rather expensive program. That one is nice as well, but it's a little bit more complicated, I feel like, to figure out how to do what I want to do with it. Audacity, once you get the hang of it, it's a little bit easier, but it's free. You download it, you hook your microphone up into it, and then all you literally have to do is press the record button, talk into your mic, and then you can edit shit. Now this is what Audacity looks like. Now just to show you, let me zoom out. You can zoom in if you want to get a real close edit. And this is right click, left click with the mouse. Okay, if you're going to use Streamlabs OBS, you could import your video into Audacity to grab the audio from it. The thing that I was trying to remember that I couldn't, if you're going to use OBS and you want to import your video files into Audacity, you need to just import a plugin that's called FFmpeg. After you do that, you can simply just drag and drop your OBS video files, which should be landing in your video folder, over into an open Audacity program, and then it will just automatically convert it from video to audio, which makes editing and everything else, at least in my world, a whole lot fucking simpler. And it's all free to use, which is pretty sick.
I'm not talking fucking high-end Joe Rogan studio podcast. You know what I mean?
No.
I just want a simple, basic of effective system that works.
That's it. That's all you need.
I can just live stream on like you do, or pre-record it, but have guests on and be as few hiccups as possible. So that's it for this one. As I said, there'll probably be more questions that I think of once you do a reply to this. But yeah, you said that you've got a lot of questions for me as well. So go ahead, man. I'm happy to answer, and thanks again for having me on the channel.
Beautiful. Okay, so yeah, dude, this is all real simple shit. Nothing. You don't need anything. Joe Rogan's setup is unrealistic for majority of people. But then again, if you know Joe Rogan, you watched him, I'm sure you've seen, he used to do a setup in his fucking living room on a computer just like this. It took him years to get the setup that he has now, where he's in his own goddamn compound. I highly doubt that, that's going to happen for me, possibly you. I hope so. I don't know. But don't let that shit fucking, if you get a basic, I'm pretty sure if you get a basic laptop, you should be okay. I think 2 gigs of RAM probably comes standard now. As far as storage is concerned, I'm not really sure. what all that does if you use the cloud and shit like that. I know we've been going for about an hour, so before I forget to do this, I'm gonna get the motherfucking plugs in. As you already know, Twitter at Laughing Birds, Instagram, brand new handle, same page at Laughing Bird Pod. Laughing Birds Pod, whatever the fuck it's called. The links are in the description, bro. All you gotta do is click the goddamn deal, and it's right there for you. There's also a website. More importantly, dude, I want to give a shout out to BeeCeeHQ. If you're not following dude yet, his channel is BeeCeeHQ. Capital H, capital Q. So make sure you give him a follow. Reactions. If you need a little fucking motivation for your day to get your shit started, you need to follow this motherfucker. I mean, obviously it didn't turn out the exact way that I'm sure either of us would have liked it to, but just the fact that we're trying to make it work is what is fucking important. So with all that out the way, I don't know your social medias, Cat. Otherwise, I would plug them. I might have to try to reach out to him and see if he has any. If not, I'll leave this where it is. So make sure you give him a follow. Follow my shit. Let's get back into this. Now I'm going over the questions I have for you. Normally, I would have had this shit written down, but I'm an asshole and I didn't write it down because I figured while you were in here, we could just go back and forth in casual conversation. Jokes on me for not properly getting myself set up. I noticed right off the top, dude, right from the dick tip, that the way that you cut your videos out is interesting. You go through the song, you maybe pause it for a moment, you say a couple of things, or you wait until the very end, you give your immediate thoughts, and then the video ends. That's it.
BeeCeeHQ, shout out to everyone supporting. They don't want to fuck with the real ones.
Do you find that to be the better way to do it? Because, I mean, I probably drive people nuts where I could take a 5-minute video and turn it into a fucking half-hour thing because I don't shut the fuck up, especially with how passionate I am about music. So there's the, like, where do you get your blueprint from? What was it that made you decide, here's how I'm going to do it? Same question back to you again. I could ask you, what made you get into reactions? Was it the fact that you seen how people are blowing up on YouTube doing them? And have you found anybody through your reactions of suggestions that people have made for you? Have you found any bands or any artists that you like, that you listen to outside of YouTube? Like if you're walking around in your regular life, is there shit you're gonna listen to? And now, you know, since I'm going, the other thing that I noticed that you do is you kind of have a podcast going already, and I don't even think that you realize it. You have these small videos which you do, I guess, motivation. If you could explain a little bit behind what the thought process is behind a video like that.
Be grateful for every day that you wake up and you've got air in your lungs. Be grateful. Yes, there's a lot of things to be down and depressed about. If you choose to focus on that, there's a lot of positives as well. But what's your take on that? Like, what are you doing every day when you wake up? Are you immediately focusing on all the negatives? There's a ton more positives, but you focus and zoom in and magnify the negatives. Focus on the positives. There's a ton of them, but it's up to you and it's down to you. It's your responsibility to find the positives. So make sure you're doing that. By all means, focus on the negatives if you want. But I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to make you see that there's more positives out there. But if you want to be miserable, then look for the negatives. I'm grateful that I've got legs. I could be in a wheelchair, do you know what I mean? So look for the positives. There's always positives. There's always a silver lining, but are you willing to look for it?
I like the fact that you have the balls to bring that phone with you, go out on a walk in the morning or whenever it is, and just talk about what's on your mind. Just like that. No thinking about it, no nothing. So did you have a thought that made you go, it's time to hit that fucking record button because there's some shit that I have to say, right? And then in the spirit of that, you have your discussion times, which, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I assume that you do them live because I think you talk to people in the chat. How you do that is another question. Would you keep the spirit of those two things and possibly maybe combine them together? You're talking directly from your fucking heart, dude. You're saying some shit that means something to you. And on top of that, you're doing it while you're out and moving around. So you are, not only are you delivering content, but you're doing whatever it is that you have to do in your life. I think that would be an interesting way to go about doing it. I mean, those are some of the questions. I mean, while I'm here, you do have a wide variety of artists. How do you decide what you listen to and what you don't? Like, does a certain amount of people have to say, all right, we want you to do Mariah Carey, Make It Happen? Do a certain number of people have to suggest that? Or do you see that in the comments and go, okay, I'll write that down and I'll get to it? Because what I used to do, I don't know what your process is like, but the way that I used to do it was every suggestion that I got in the comments, I wrote down. And I know I'm a psychopath. I don't expect anybody else to go by the logic that I went by. Since I just said that last question, and I swear to God, I'll give you a chance to answer them. How many copyright issues, if any, have you had since you started doing reactions? And are you at all concerned about a strike on your channel? Because that was something that I ran into that I had an issue with. I'm just kind of wondering what is it like? Is it because you're in a different country and you're listening to American artists? Do they go lighter on that or do they go harder? But now I'm gonna stop asking questions to give you a moment to answer them. Before I forget though, there's a section on YouTube. If you go into your YouTube Studio beta, gotta take off at 4:30 around next week. Gonna look next week and going forward. Currently work part-time, mostly just weekend days. So I have quite a bit of free time during the week. Okay, so you're about to leave soon because it's already 11. I mean, it's 12, 1, 2, 3. It should be like 4 o'clock. Okay, check this out. You see him in the YouTube studio, right? Now you would scroll down to other features. You got playlists, live events, live stream now, all that other bullshit. Click on audio library. And right here, all these songs you could use in your video for intros, social media plugs, podcasts, background music, whatever you want to do, because it's here specifically for use for that. The only thing that you have to worry about is if you see a little guy in a circle standing over here, that just means that the person that created the beat wants you to list them on your video. We'd have to work it out for what days and times. Monday and Tuesdays, I have my kids after school. So if you can't do it before I go pick them up, then we would just need to sort another day. Okay, so you got kids. Shit. Well, this the other thing too, dude, is I kind of wanted to ask you what your life is like, but I'll write down some questions. I don't want to get too personal, but I mean, fuck, dude, you live halfway across the world. It's literally a different world, probably, than what I'm living. I mean, in some ways, I'm sure it's the same. Like, right, we both gotta eat, sleep, shit, repeat, and all that, but it's gotta be a completely different lifestyle, a different way of just everything altogether. So that's crazy. But yeah, dude, if we need to cut it in the morning, we can do that for sure. All right, I'm going to reply right now, but will be the last reply for today, as I got some things to do in a bit. All right. I mean, plus it doesn't help that this fucking piece of shit didn't want to work when it was supposed to. Otherwise, we probably could have got this knocked out. But then again, even if we could have, it would have been a completely different thing. So I'll wait for the video to come up. I'll watch that, and then we'll close out part 1.
What's going on, Jack? Thanks for your questions, mate. So you've got some questions for me. I wrote them down. I'll try my best to answer them so you can get something out of it. So the first question was, how did I end up doing my vids? Where do I get my blueprint for, like, why I do it? So I don't know if this was specifically for the reactions, or I think it was more so why I end my videos and that, like that. How I end my videos. Where do I get my, like, why do I do it that way? Part of it was because I didn't have the editing software, but also I've never really edited until I use iMovie currently, which I'm still can't use properly. But a lot of it was to do with editing and just editing skills. I didn't know what to do, so I literally just had to, like, stop the video.
It's actually pretty fucking smart, dude. I hate editing videos. So I mentioned VSDC in the live stream that we did. It's free editing software that you can find in the Windows Store or wherever you get shit with Apple. The reason why I'm bringing this up right now is because the program will tell you, if you decide to get this, that in order to be able to get exports to be in a YouTube format, that you would have to upgrade to the premium version. I'm here to tell you that that is not the case. How I edit my videos, or even when I do my podcast, I will do it as I explained to you earlier through OBS. I put it in Audacity, I clean it up, export the MP3 file, and then I take that and I drop it into VSDC, and then when I'm exporting it, I change the format from what will be an FLV file, and I change that to an AVI file. I don't know what any of that shit means. All I know is that when I changed it to AVI, that I can then take that file and upload that to YouTube, and it works just fine.
But also, something I wanted to ask you as well, but I'll do that at the end of the video, but was intros and what do you call it, like ending the video. So, like, how to do that, because I definitely want to get an intro for my channel, but I don't know the best way to go about that.
You're talking about making an intro, right? So what I have done is I did a combination of things. I went on to Anchor.fm, which is a podcast hosting site, which is free. You get a sponsor immediately, which is them, and then as your podcast grows in popularity, they'll match you with sponsors so you can get paid for doing it. But on that website, they have things that they call transitions, which you can use. It's like a couple of seconds of music and shit like that. You can use that to cut an intro with, or you can go the YouTube route, which in your YouTube Studio Beta, as soon as you open it, you're going to scroll down where you see your dashboard, videos, analytics, comments, transcripts, go right to other features, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The sixth one down will be your audio library. Now, in that audio library, there's all music of many different kinds. Everything literally from hip-hop beats all the way down to ambient music. You can use any of that in any of your YouTube videos and you will not get a copyright claim for it. They're only made with certain tracks. The artist who makes it would have it mandatory that if you're going to use their music, that you credit them in the description of your video. So, I mean, if the time comes when you think about throwing an intro together or an outro for your show, if you would like, I'm more than willing to collaborate with you and try to come up with something that sounds cool and around the area of what it is that you're trying to accomplish, because as I'm sure everybody here is familiar, and as if you may have heard, if you listen to this, you will see in the beginning of the video I have a little bit of music that brings me in, which is about 10 seconds. I have the merchant from Resident Evil welcoming everybody, and the guy from HBO giving the disclaimer, letting everybody know that it's time to grab your cartridges because this program is for mature audiences only.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Welcome. Now, that's just my style of the way that I'm choosing to do shit. I'm sure you probably have a completely different route that you want to go. So, look, if I can help you in any way, dude, I'm more than willing to do it. I'll give you all the tools that I have at my disposal, dude, which I'm still in the beginning stages, but if the little bit of knowledge that I have will be in some way able to help you to accomplish and get to the goals that you want to get to, I'm more than happy to do that, as I repeat it for like the third time, because I have no idea how the fuck to do this right now.
So, why I do it that way, part of it was because I didn't have the editing skills or the knowledge. I mean, that was the main reason, because if I don't know how to cut something or have the software to do it, what choice do I have? I had to end the videos like that, and I've just basically stuck with that. Now I use iMovie, as I said, so it might be slightly different at times how I end it, but it's pretty much the same formula. So that was mainly because of editing. Why did I start doing reactions? Now, for a long time I saw people doing these reactions and I didn't watch it, but I'd always see it on like a thumbnail or when I was on YouTube watching whatever, and I'd always hear about these reactions and I'd be like, what's that? And for a long time, I think I briefly must have checked one out years ago or something, and I thought, why do people want to sit and watch someone react to music, especially if it's not their own music?
I haven't a clue what's going on here, but I'll act like I do.
And I didn't understand it. And then for some reason I must have started going down a loophole like you do on YouTube at times. And I started watching a few reaction channels. And I bought into some of the characters on there. And I say characters, and they're real people, but some of them I think probably put a bit of an act on.
Fucking all day they do, dude. Come on, bro. Bro, there's 100 channels I can name right now. All these faking funk motherfuckers, bro. Like, oh my god, I never heard this before. Meanwhile, they know the exact cue of when to fucking react. But you never heard the song before, though, right?
But I sort of found myself gravitating towards it a bit. And before I knew, I was watching so many reactions. And now, to this day, I've got various reaction channels that I've subscribed to because I just like how people break down the videos and lyrics. Like, I'm a musician as well, like I write lyrics and stuff, but so when I see people breaking bars down, I've got more of an appreciation for it, because when you catch bars and how you hear it and you've heard a song for the first time and you're catching it all as it's going on, I've got a deeper, more deeper appreciation for that coming from being an artist and a lyricist myself. So yeah, when I first heard about it and come across it, I was like, I don't understand this. Like, this is corny. And then before I knew it, like I said, I was addicted to it, and to this day I watch a lot, and it inspired me. I thought, well, they can do it. Why can't I do it? And I wanted to do it to challenge myself as well. I already had videos on the channel, but I also saw that people were getting a lot of views for it, and I thought it might help me gain some more subscribers in that. But that's not on a clout chasing thing or I want to be famous. That was more so just growing my channel and then bringing into, once people come for the reactions, they're going to see my other videos as well. I want to do more motivational videos and stuff like that. Motivational speaking is something I'm interested in getting into as well. So there's so many things that I want to do. It's just knowing how to go about it. But that's why I started doing reactions, and yeah, and it's kind of become the main focus of the channel. So have I found artists from reactions that I like, that I kind of listen to outside of videos? To be honest, I don't really listen to too much music outside of when I do the reactions now. That's just because of life, and just like I heard you mention a minute ago about mumble rappers.
A lot of the people that were watching my shit when I was doing reactions are from the fucking UK, dude. So it seems like you guys kind of dig the old school hip hop shit. Fuck, that's the other thing. I wanted to ask him about mumble rappers.
I just think music nowadays, on a lot of it, is watered down. There's too many people getting respect and adulation for things that I just don't understand. I'm very old school when it comes to things like that. I like a lot of the old school artists, and I don't like the new ones, like most of them anyway. Like, I just don't understand the love and how people look up to them. It doesn't resonate with me. So there's been a few, like, I've been recently surprised by, I've checked out a few country artists and I actually found myself liking country music, and I never thought I'd say that. Chris Stapleton is one I like. I've just started checking out Tim McGraw and I like him.
Dude, I can't stand country music. Every song kind of sounds the same. And if you rewind it, you get your dog back, you get your wife back. You know, you could say the same thing about rap. Popping nines and stabbing motherfuckers, and I'm selling crack, and I'm hard as fuck all the time. Hard.
To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours.
You could do that with any group of music. It's just something about country rubs me the wrong way. Could very well have been that I grew up around racist rednecks. Could have definitely been a heavy influence on why I don't like that. Having said that, though, I respect that it exists. I'm glad that it's out there, and I'm happy that you found something that you like.
So there are going to be more country reactions on my channel, because that's a new genre that I found that I like, that I never thought I would like. But so far I've been really enjoying it. So I'd say country artists, that's the biggest thing. Not too much on the rock ones I've done, but there probably will be some in the future that I like. So I'd say country for that, the people that I've found that I like. But I don't really listen to them outside of music that much, but country would be it for that. My thought process behind the motivational videos I do, and why I do them. So I'm big, I don't know if you must know about Eric Thomas, E.T. the hip hop preacher. He's the #1 motivational speaker in the world. Earlier this year, I went to London to see him live. And I come across his videos a few years ago when I was in a really down and not in a good space, like depressed, and just I needed that motivation. I needed like help, and I come across his videos randomly, and I subscribed. I went through watching all of his videos. I went through about 5-6 years, maybe more, of his old videos, right from the very first video he ever posted. And now I'm subscribed to him still. I don't watch every single video he does now because life's just busy, but I went through his whole channel of, as I said, probably 7 or 8 years worth of videos in a space of a month or something, and I was up to date. I got hooked on him. And because he was homeless and he came from nothing, and now he's the #1 motivational speaker in the world. He's set his family up for life. His son's now got his own ownership in business, and do you know what I mean? They've got no there's always worries in life, but financially they're comfortable. And he inspired me because of what he's come from. It took him 12 years to get a 4-year degree. I think it was a 4-year degree. 12 years. He had to retake the course. 12 years. And now he's got a PhD. He's set himself up for life. And he was homeless. He was in abandoned buildings, eating out of trash cans. And he was a big influence on me, especially doing my YouTube videos and that as well, but more the motivational side of it. And as I said, I want to get into motivational speaking. I don't know if I've got the character for it because I don't feel like I've got the intensity and the projection in my voice. And I don't think I'm necessarily that exciting, but I feel like the message, and I've actually got an illness myself, which I'll get into more on a later date if you want to ask about that. But I feel like I could help people regarding the illness I have. I could help people with that. I know I could. So regardless of the character I've got, or if I think I'm not very exciting, I know from life experience I can help people.
Let me stop you right there. Here's why it would be good for you. Here's why it would be good for you to do that. Well, you make a point, right? I don't know if I have the energy and intensity to do it. But you being the way you are, if you just went and cut videos talking the way that you're talking, you're approaching it from a different way. Because your motivation might not come from screaming in people's faces about how they need to be up and motivated. Instead, you're talking to them. When you make a video and you're talking, to me, it sounds like my friend has left me a voicemail, right? Like we're having a chat on a video, except you're talking and I'm listening. So I think like I understand why you would say that, but at the same time, I feel like there's an angle in the market that you specifically you could dominate with and use for your advantage. Because not everybody, me personally, I would never do well in a place like boot camp or something like that because of my issues with authority. Somebody screaming in my face is not going to get the job done. However, somebody is talking to me, they're trying to get me to understand how to see something differently, how to do something differently, give me the motivation to do it. The way that you're approaching it is a lot more friendly to me. And I feel like, I could appreciate that versus the other way that people do it. So don't sell yourself short.
It's just having that platform to help them and reaching them and getting people encouraged to just comment in the comments and get a community going in the comments so we can help each other. People might think it's just about me being on camera and my voice. I want to do these videos so you have a place to come and get in the comments. And even if you don't talk to me, talk to each other in the comments and help each other. So that's why I do the motivational videos. And also just to try and keep on top of myself and check myself when I'm going through shit. I'll be like, come on. So that's it for the motivational ones.
I'm definitely going to ask about that because I had no idea you had anything going on. I mean, whatever it is, I didn't notice it from you talking or moving around. So, I mean, I that's a good thing, right? Like my shit is right out in the open. The way that I speak, you can hear it. I walk with a limp. So as soon as I get up and move, you can see something clearly is not right. But I mean, dude, yeah, you could totally do it. Use it to your advantage. And I mean, as far as building a community is concerned and comments and shit like that, comments are good, right? They're a good thing to incorporate into what you do. If you go through my channel, there's quite a few videos, I'm sure, of where I let the negativity in the comments speak to me more than the positivity, which is fucked. You're not supposed to do that, but I think it's human nature to get wrapped up in shit like that. Like I was just watching Steady Crafting Craftsman, which is a great YouTube channel, and I'm sure I'm butchering the shit out of the name, but he even said, I could read 100 comments of people that say great things, but I read one negative comment and that shit fucks me up for a week. He didn't use that exact term. That's what I'm using, but it's true. So I understand in one way, you want to build a community. I want to do the same. I want people to feel comfortable. I want people to be able to share their story with me, with each other. Even the good comments you question, bro. That's true. I mean, DMX made a good point on the Great Depression, which I think was his fourth album, where he was in an interview. He was talking about how I can't allow people to interfere with what I do. And they were like, well, what about, when people say positive things about you? He said, even the positive. Because if I allow you to lift me up, then that means I also allow you to tear me down. And I can't do that. I can't have that. I know issues talking about it. I want to encourage others to speak up and help people, even if they don't want to ask anything, just so that they got a refuge to feel safe, in my opinion. Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely. That's important. It's definitely important to do. And I think a lot of people in this day and age, especially on the internet, dude, there's a big lack, a big chasm of non-communication, right? Like, and honesty. Nobody likes to tell the truth. There's only two speeds on the internet. Hurtful honesty, where you say something to hurt somebody's feelings, or you're being facetious, where you say shit that you don't mean just to try to make somebody feel good. And there's nothing really in between that, where people can talk about how they really, what they think about, or anything like that. Whereas, that's what this whole thing is based out of. I want people, just like you do, I want you to feel comfortable, but at the same time, I want you to know what it is that happens here. If I'm telling you something, it's the truth in its own right, and it's important that we keep the spirit of that alive in a time where people can edit videos together to make everything seem so in such a way that it's perfect, where there's no evidence it took a build up to get there, all the hours of editing it took to pull it together. You're just on the internet with your finished product, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, I feel like it's important that some of us out here document how it is that we got there, right? We don't just turn the microphone and the camera on and all of a sudden there's just a beautiful thing on the other end of it.
Why do I do discussion times and how I do them? So the discussion times, I just started one day. I think I saw like question and answers videos of people I've seen, of just any YouTubers, like they do questions and answers, and I've always wanted to do that because I like people to get to know me more about like the person I am, more behind the videos. Do you know what I mean? Like,
right,
even if it's more personal stuff.
Yeah.
Because then you can engage with your followers more, and they feel like they know you more. And
plus it makes
I've
you
always wanted to do questions and answers, but I've not really had the enough subscribers to.
It makes you a person too to them, where it's not like you're not out of reach, which I think is important, because there's a big disconnect. You're not so accessible that anybody can get you at any time, but at the same time, you take the time to get to know people. I said time way too many times.
To get the comments in, or people just don't feel brave enough or comfortable enough to put the questions in there for some reason.
Right.
But over a few years of doing it, I did get a core following of people that used to give me subjects. Sadly, most of them now I don't hear from. I do believe they're still subscribed, but I don't hear from them anymore. But they helped out for a long time with bringing general questions in and topics for me to then do new episodes on.
There's a lot of people that are not around anymore. People that were in every comment section of every video that I did until I stopped doing reactions. And then they all slowly disappeared. Like, I'm pretty sure Danielle's still around. I'm pretty sure William is still around. Joe, Yaki Taxi, fucking Jamie. A lot of people that used to be around are not around anymore. I mean, Demos has been holding the fucking fort down for a while, dude. But I mean, he did make a point a little while ago, which was, I mean, just because you don't see them in the comment section doesn't mean they're not listening. But at the same time, it's almost like reverse to where how, you know, we don't put up a video, they kind of wonder what happens to us if they stop commenting. Sometimes you find yourself wondering, like, I wonder what, I guess they're just not into it anymore. It's strange.
But nowadays, I'll spark an idea in my head, or there'll be something on the news I might catch, and I'll be like, I'm going to do a discussion time about that.
Right.
So it's like general events and things like that. So when I started it off, it was more from people in the comments, but now it's actually died down in the comments, and I have to come up with subjects myself.
But people like that, though.
So yeah, that's how I do it nowadays. For that, my aim for that is to get to 100 episodes. I'm on, I think the next episode, which I'm planning to do this week, is going to be episode 87.
Oh shit! So you're up there, bro. I just cracked the 40s with the podcast.
So I'm getting there. I just want to get to 100 episodes. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue that going forward after that, but that's my goal for now. That's another thing. I've never really gone live. I went live on Instagram once, but I've never live streamed on YouTube ever. I've had my channel for about 10 years, maybe more.
I thought you did.
Because of the setup, and when I've tried to do it before, there's been fucking software issues, and it just angers me, so I have to just shut it off. And finally, reactions. How do I decide what I listen to and what I don't? So to start with, the very first reaction I did was a guy I met through doing music and networking, someone I've met in person. So I did his first, and that got quite a good response. And then I think I must have picked artists to start off with, or maybe I had a comment in the first video I did of someone saying, can you react to this? And I might have got the ball rolling from there. To be honest with you, it's been in quite a long while now since I started reactions.
You forget.
I can't specifically remember how it started.
It's easy to forget, dude, especially when you get wrapped up in shit. The other question I forgot, is I meant to ask you what your schedule is. Do you do, I think you do 2 videos a week, 3 videos a week? Because I was on some crazy shit where I was doing 4 videos a day at one time. I don't recommend that at all whatsoever. And a question from the comments earlier was, do you ever get burnt out from doing reactions?
Apart from that first video. But nowadays, I'm getting more and more people that are putting in the comments recommending things. So if someone says, like you said, Mariah Carey, Make It Happen, there might be 2 people that like that, or 3 people that like that. So I'll then kind of try and make that priority of what I do nearer the time.
Okay.
But generally, people suggest things. So I've created a list now on my laptop. So I've got lists of what people suggested, and then it's kind of a lottery of the mood I'm in that day of what I react. But yeah, I know it's weird because when I look at other reaction channels, they have, like you said, like they have like 10 likes on one suggestion. I don't really get that on mine. I'll get a few people come with songs, but it's generally 1 comment per person. Like no one seems to like that person's comment. So
yeah, but that's weird shit too, though, dude, because I think that falls into the leader follower categories, though.
Kind of having more of a free pick with it. It's more of a lottery of what I choose to do.
Right.
Because a lot of it, it's not like that one's got 10 likes, so I'm going to do that next because that's what the people want.
Right.
Because that's not really happening right now. It's more one person says this, another person says that. So it's kind of down to me at the moment of in what order it goes. What I don't do, for instance, I'm not going to really react to like metal music because that's just not what I've grown up with. and sometimes rock and things like jazz and that. But if someone recommends me a specific thing, I will do it because
Right. I think the first one I did was Slaves and Bulldozers from Soundgarden. But if you don't like metal, you definitely would hate. So like I watched the Slipknot video that you did, which was fucking hilarious, by the way. I really enjoyed that. Spit It Out video.
we're about to go into some madness. All right, I appreciate the speed and the spitting, but I don't like the shouting. I want to see why they think I'm going to like it, because they've obviously seen my videos and been like, I'm going to suggest this. It's different to what he usually does.
Other people, though, are just sending you shit because they like it and they just want to see what your opinion is on it. God forbid it should be bad.
There's something they've seen in me that makes me think there's something in that song that I know he's going to like, even though he don't usually listen to that. So that's what I'd say about that. How many copyright issues have I had? I don't know specifically the number I've had. I'd say at least 10.
Okay.
I don't think I've had any strikes yet, but I've had about 10 copyrights, I think. And a lot of the ones that go up now still say copyright claims.
All of mine
I don't
did.
hear anything back from them. But I've had one.
I only had one strike, but that was because, some fucking douchebag mumble rapper from Germany reported me because I didn't like his fucking stupid ass song. Flowers, 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 flowers. Fucking asshole.
Ones probably, I'd say a minimum of 10, probably more though, where I've uploaded the video, but as soon as I've gone and it's uploaded to then edit before it goes up live, when it gets to the edit point, I'll go to click on it and it's like video blocked worldwide, so I can't do nothing with it then.
Right.
So I've had to tell people now, like,
Brutal.
that video you suggested that can't get done. I've tried to upload it, it won't go.
Especially after you spend all that time fucking editing it. It's the most frustrating thing in the fucking world.
The copyright, and I've tried doing it even with cutting bits out, and it still don't do it. So,
dude, God damn it, I'm such a bad person because I keep pausing you to say some shit, but I had a video for Ozzy Osbourne, See You on the Other Side, right? One of my friends was here, suggested it. We watched it. I tore it to pieces, but I had a really good time watching it. We laughed pretty hard. We made stupid jokes.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
All right, then go already.
Oh my God! Oh my God! We're ruined! Jesus Christ! Way to fucking look a moment right in the eyes and stab it in the abdomen. Jesus Christ! Yeah, it's gonna be low and slow, my friend. You're gonna bleed out, but it's gonna take some time.
I lost 90% of that video because I couldn't upload it because it was copyright blocked. They would not allow it. So it literally had to be like 30 seconds of the video. I cut out all of the shit that was funny about it, and then the video is just like trashy. It's not even anywhere close to as good as it would have been if I could have just uploaded what it originally was.
I have had copyright issues, but as far as I can remember, I don't think I've had any strikes yet. And then the last question was, am I concerned about strikes on my channel? Yeah, I am. I don't want to lose my channel. Like, it's more as well. I've said it recently. Because I've had my channel so long and it hasn't blown up, it means even more to me when I get subscribers now, because it's been
a
10 years
grind,
probably at minimum.
Fuck.
I think I've had the channel between 10 to I'd say 8 to 11 years, that sort of mark. So when I do, my channel's growing and my subscribers are coming, it means even more to me because of the amount of time it's taken, and it's more authentic to me. Like,
right.
I used to look at YouTubers and be really jealous, like, oh, look at, they got millions of subscribers, I wish I could do that. But it means more to me now. I'm glad I haven't blown up, because I don't believe them people with millions of subscribers. I don't believe for one that they're
buying them,
gained all them. I reckon a lot of them they've paid for.
Fuck yeah.
And I reckon a lot of them are fake. Do you know what I mean? I don't.
For sure.
To me, it seems more authentic the way I'm doing it.
Definitely.
I might not have blown up, but as I said, it means more to me when I get my my followers and my subscribers now. So this is probably going to have to be into 2 parts, this video, because I think my phone only uploads 15 minutes. So I'm going to have to do this one, and then there'll be a second part, which is about 3 minutes, but it'll be from this video. So this be up in 2 parts, just to let you know.
No doubt.
Yeah, man, I'll speak to you soon. I'm about next week. I'm away Monday and Tuesday, possibly Wednesday, but I'll be back after that. Obviously, I work Friday and Saturday nights. Sundays is a bit of a struggle because I'll be sleeping, but going forward after next week, during the week, I'll be pretty free again. So let me know, man. Thanks again for the opportunity and the channel and the support. I look forward to hearing from you soon, man. Take care.
I say we'll end part 1 right here. If you want, dude, I'm not sure if you heard before, but once I have this shit cut up and edited, if you would like to put it on your channel, I can send you a file or you can download it, however that shit works. You're more than welcome to do so. If you chose not to, no big deal. Completely get it and I understand. But just know that you have that option if you wanted to use it. Last thing is, if you would like, so once I'm done with it, if you want a copy of it to listen back to it, to see how it sounds before I release it, just let me know. I have no problem with giving you a copy of it so you can hear it, make sure you're happy with it. If there's anything that you want to cut out, if you said something that you didn't want to say, which, I mean, I don't think that would apply in this instance, but just know, it's an option. If there's something you want cut out, I can cut it out, no problem. So with all that being said, this has been part 1. I don't know what the title of this is going to be.
I'm not really sure.
I'm so unprofessional, dude. Description of the video is fill in later. So stupid. I don't know. I kind of hope he does start a podcast, man. Because anything that and it doesn't even have to be fucking directly related to music.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Oh.
Welcome.
I'm already here. Jesus.